After 60, love isn't the fairy tale we once imagined. The truth is, nearly 99% of relationships at this age don't last, not because we're too old, not because beauty fades, but because life has left its mark. Years of habits, regrets, and fears build walls higher than romance can climb. Older men and women don't walk away because they've stopped believing in love. They walk away because carrying the weight of 2 lifetimes often proves too heavy. So if you've ever wondered why second chances, late marriages, or even long partnerships sometimes crumble after decades, know this: the reason runs deeper than the surface. It's not just about arguments or silence. It's about the hidden wounds we never heal and the expectations we never name. Hi, welcome back to Vernon After 60. In today's video, I'm going to share with you the 4 biggest reasons why relationships after 60 fail. Lessons we all need to face, no matter how long we've been together or how late we've chosen to love again. Before we go deeper into this truth, if these words strike a chord with your own story, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and keep this wisdom close. Because understanding why so many relationships fail might just hold the key to helping yours survive. Now, let's uncover the first hard reality, and it's not what you think. It's not about passion fading or looks changing. It's something far more human and far more painful.
Number 1. Carrying old wounds into new love. The greatest obstacle to love later in life isn't the number of candles on the cake, it's the baggage we bring along. By the time we reach this stage, every man and woman carries decades of history. Disappointments that never healed, betrayals that left scars, habits that hardened over time. We think we've left it all behind, but the truth is, those unspoken wounds still sit quietly between 2 people, even when no one dares to name them. A man who was once abandoned may read distance into every silence. A woman who was once betrayed may question loyalty even when it's faithfully given. These echoes of the past cast long shadows over the present, making it difficult to truly see the person standing in front of us. And slowly, almost unnoticed, love begins to strain under the weight of ghosts it never invited in. For women after 60, this often means protecting the heart so fiercely that openness feels dangerous. For men, it can mean retreating at the first sign of conflict, fearing it's the beginning of another collapse. Neither is wrong for feeling this way. It's simply the truth of a life lived long enough to know how badly things can hurt. If we don't face our own history, it will keep rewriting every love story we try to live. Healing doesn't mean erasing the past, but learning to stop punishing the present for it. So what can couples do? The first step is honesty. Not the kind that dumps every painful detail at once, but the kind that admits, yes, I've been hurt before, and it sometimes makes me cautious. When both partners can name their fears without turning them into accusations, trust begins to root. The second step is patience. Healing doesn't happen in a single talk. It happens in the small gestures repeated over time. A steady word, a kept promise, a calm response when old insecurities flare up. And finally, learn to see each other not as the sum of past mistakes, but as 2 people brave enough to try again. Because love at this stage isn't about erasing history, it's about building something strong enough to hold it without breaking. But past wounds aren't the only thing that erodes love at this stage. Even couples who manage to heal their history often stumble on another truth: the quiet distance that grows when two people stop truly communicating. And that brings us to the second reason so many relationships fail.
Number 2. The silence that replaces real communication. It often begins quietly, almost invisibly. Two people share the same table, the same bed, even the same routines, yet the words between them grow fewer. At first, it feels like comfort. We've known each other long enough, we don't need to say everything. But over time, that comfort hardens into distance, and distance, left unchecked, becomes the silent killer of love. I've seen this up close in my own family. My Aunt Margaret and Uncle Thomas were together for more than 30 years. They never fought loudly, and to the outside world, their marriage looked calm, even enviable. But what we didn't see was the silence that slowly built between them. Margaret once told me, "We stopped talking about what scared us. We thought keeping the peace was better than stirring things up." Over time, that silence became a wall. They still shared a home, but not a life. When Thomas passed away, Margaret admitted the hardest part wasn't losing him in that moment. It was realizing she had lost him years earlier, when they stopped truly speaking to each other. In relationships later in life, many believe arguments are the greatest threat. But it isn't conflict that ends most partnerships. It's the absence of real conversation. When thoughts go unspoken, small misunderstandings turn into assumptions, and assumptions turn into quiet resentments. Eventually, couples stop talking about dreams, worries, even simple joys. So how do couples protect themselves? By choosing to speak, even when it feels unnecessary. Share the little details, what you feared today, what memory came to mind, what hope you still carry. And just as importantly, choose to listen without rushing to solve or dismiss. Communication at this stage isn't about debate, it's about connection. If this truth speaks to you, don't just watch and move on, but tap Save so you can return to these lessons anytime your heart needs a reminder. Of course, even when couples manage to heal old wounds and keep talking, there's another trap that quietly destroys love: routine. Not the comfort of routine itself, but the way it turns two people into roommates instead of partners. And that's the next reason so many relationships don't survive.
Number 3. When love turns into routine. It often begins so subtly you don't even notice it. The morning coffee tastes the same. The TV hums with the same shows. The evenings pass in quiet sameness. Nothing seems wrong, but nothing feels alive either. And without warning, what once felt like the comfort of routine becomes the silence of distance. That's the third reason so many relationships fade, not with a fight, but with slow neglect. As the philosopher Soren Kierkegaard once wrote, "Boredom is the root of all evil, the despairing refusal to be oneself." In love, boredom doesn't show up as shouting or betrayal. It shows up as two people quietly giving up on curiosity about each other. When partners stop seeking, stop wondering, stop creating new moments, they slip into despair without even naming it. This is why so many long-term relationships collapse, not in anger, but in quiet neglect. Love doesn't only need peace, it also needs freshness. When nothing new is shared, no new experiences, no surprises, no laughter, affection fades into habit, and habit turns into distance. It's not that couples stop loving each other, it's that they stop feeding the love. And like any fire left unattended, it eventually goes out. That's why the answer lies in breaking the pattern, even in small, ordinary ways. Take a walk somewhere different. Cook a new meal together. Ask each other a question you've never asked before. These may sound simple, but they breathe life back into connection. The goal isn't to chase youth or excitement, but to remind each other that your bond is still alive, still worth tending, still more than just sharing space. Because the truth is, love doesn't only die from conflict or betrayal. It dies when two people forget to nurture it. A relationship is never a finished house. It's a living garden. Stop caring for it, and it withers. Care for it, even with the smallest gestures, and it blooms again, even in the later seasons of life. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you seen these struggles in your own life or in couples around you? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your story might be the very wisdom someone else needs today. But even beyond old wounds, silence, and routine, there is one final reason so many relationships collapse: the quiet loss of respect. And when respect fades, love has no ground left to stand on.
Number 4. The quiet loss of respect. Beyond old wounds, silence, and routine, there is one final reason why so many relationships collapse in later life: the fading of respect. Love can survive disagreements, even endure periods of distance, but the moment respect slips away, the foundation crumbles. It doesn't always happen loudly. Sometimes it's a sharp word spoken too often, a dismissive glance, or the habit of treating a partner's thoughts as unimportant. Other times it's deeper: resentment for choices made years ago, or disappointment that never found forgiveness. Over time, these small fractures add up until the bond no longer feels like a partnership, but a quiet battle for dignity. From what I've found in my own research, this isn't just a matter of opinion. The numbers back it up. A 2013 study from the National Center for Biotechnology Information found that 61% of long-term couples who reported dissatisfaction pointed to loss of mutual respect as the key reason for decline, more than conflict or financial strain. What couples often forget is that respect isn't automatic, even after decades together. It must be renewed daily, in the way we speak, the way we listen, and the way we value each other's presence. Without it, affection turns into tolerance, and tolerance eventually hardens into indifference. The path forward isn't grand gestures, but simple discipline. Speak to your partner as you would to a dear friend. Notice their efforts. Honor their individuality. Respect means seeing the other not as someone you've grown used to, but as someone still worthy of care and admiration. Because the truth is, when respect dies, love follows quickly. But when respect is protected, even in small ways, it gives love the strength to endure all the storms that come with age. And now we arrive at the part where everything comes together. We've walked through each reason love so often falters, and now it's time to step back, gather these truths, and see the larger picture they reveal about relationships in this later season of life. At the end of all we've uncovered, one truth stands above the rest. Relationships at this stage of life rarely end because of age itself. They fail under the weight of old wounds left unhealed, silences that replace conversation, routines that choke out joy, and respect that quietly slips away. These are the unseen forces that turn love from a source of comfort into a burden too heavy to carry. But within this hard truth lies a gift. When we see these patterns clearly, we're no longer powerless against them. We can choose to heal instead of hide, to speak instead of remain silent, to nurture instead of neglect, and above all, to honor each other with respect. As Seneca once wrote, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." And in love, that means holding ourselves accountable for the way we show up even in the later seasons of life. So if today's message resonated with you, take a moment to like this video, subscribe to Journey After 60, and save it so the wisdom stays close whenever you need it. And please share your own story in the comments. Your experience may be the very light another soul is waiting for. Until we meet again, may your days be guided by respect, warmed by love, and strengthened by the wisdom of all you've lived through. And it's Vernon. Thanks for watching my video, and see you next time.